Yeah, we're going to get ugly this week. Going to get our hands dirty. And it's time for you to step outside of that comfort zone and get a little weird with us here for the Week 7 main slate. You're watching The Perfect Lineup, where Josh Engleman and myself, Dave Loughran, look to take down a tournament with one of these beauties we build here right in this video. As always, I'll lay the foundation, build out the core. Some will be kind of standard. Some are going to get weird. Josh is going to take it over to the single lineup sims, run it on a specific randomness, maybe none at all if the core is weird enough. And we're going to see what type of feedback we get and see if we're on the right track. And as always, you guys want to get a free month, not a week, a free month of NFL Sims Max. I got a good one for you. Comment down below with what player you think has the most, ready, rushing plus receiving yards on the Week 8 main slate. So that's the 1 and 4 o'clock window, not the night slate, not Monday. Most rushing and receiving. If you get it right, yeah, a month of the Sims Max may be coming your way. As always, if you guys appreciate this video, whether it's helpful, entertaining, whatever it may be, goes a long way for us when you hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel as well. Appreciate you, and let's get into the action. All right, so the first build I'm going to go with is definitely a little bit strange. It's not totally unusual, but it is taking a chalky player and making the build less chalky. And, you know, we call this the perfect lineup, right? But I think those of you who are capable of thinking for yourself know that we don't actually think we are going to build the best lineup ever created in the history of DFS, right? The point is that, yeah, we're trying to build good lineups that win, right? And we built a lot of them on this very video. But the real point for Josh and I doing this is to try and help people learn how to build better lineups and how to think differently going into these slates instead of just going full chalk or full contrarian where you're building a lineup that has no chance of winning altogether. That's what this foundation and core is for. That's what the Sims are for. They're going to help us put together good lineups, whether they cash or not. The idea is the process involved. And you know what? One of these days we are going to take one down, and we're going to start maybe with this one. Justin Fields at quarterback. Here we go. Once again, cue the booze. Wouldn't blame you. But here's the thing about Justin Fields. I've had so much pushback on this all week long, and to some extent I get it. The biggest thing is, well, Garrett Wilson's not going to play. He's doubtful. I understand that. By the way, this is recording on a Friday afternoon, so a lot of news still pending. He's had 2 bad games. One of them was against the Bills. The other one was, and he got knocked out of that game. Another one was against the Denver Broncos in London. Outside of that, 26 fantasy points, 28 fantasy points, 30 fantasy points, immense rushing upside. So yeah, I like Justin Fields if he's going to be like 2% owned by the field. You're telling me the Jets are a home dog to the Carolina Panthers, but it's a 1.5 point spread? Yeah, the Carolina Panthers coming off a big win against the Cowboys. You don't think I want a piece of this Jets team here when nobody wants anybody outside of Breece Hall? Of course we're going to try it. Now, I do want Breece Hall in this exact lineup. 2 reasons. One, it may seem like Breece Hall is going to cannibalize Justin Fields and vice versa because both of them utilize their legs. But you know what? They can both get there in a multitude of ways. Breece Hall, I wouldn't be surprised if he sees a 20+% target share with Garrett Wilson not expected to play, or they just go with a super run-heavy approach, and both of those guys are capable of running it up. Now, you might be saying Carolina has stifled the run game in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, but look at the 4 weeks before that. Teams were running all over them. It's too small of a sample to draw any distinctions there. Plus, Breece Hall had 20+ carries last week despite not being effective against a stone wall in Denver. And then I'm going to throw Quinshon Judkins in for good measure. Why? Because I love this guy, and it's finally a fantastic spot to play him. He'll be pretty chalky, but he's got a 94.5-yard rushing prop, 20.5 rushing attempt prop. And how about this? You're going to have sustained winds of up to 30 miles per hour, 20 to 30 mile per hour sustained winds, with gusts potentially hitting 60 miles per hour and a half to 3/4 inches of rain come Sunday afternoon. Yeah, I'll take the running back who's already getting 20+ touches in neutral to positive game scripts. And I will forego the Dylan Gabriel who threw 52 times last week in a massive losing effort.
What better way to get started in the single lineup simulator than to do it with the Jets? Not a better team in the league to try to back this week, but that's where Loughy's going to put us, and I'm got to be honest here, I kind of like it. Justin Fields in at quarterback, Breece Hall at running back, Mason Taylor in at tight end, Judkins locked in at running back. We have $28,600 left. Loughy wants us to run this with 5% randomness. I'm going to hit complete this lineup. That's going to fill in the rest of the lineup with the optimal plays for the salary that we have left. Seems like we're going to be leaning a little bit towards the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb shows up. Javonte Williams shows up. We get Chris Olave. We get Rashee Rice. And Patriots D against the Titans. We spend all of our salary. But now we have to evaluate this lineup. I'm going to click Run Lineup Simulation. That's going to give us the details that we're looking for. I really like this lineup. Honestly, does it get any better than that? What more could we want in this video? 142 sim ROI, 0.3% chance to win, 3.5% top 10, and a 51% cash rate. We soaked up so much ownership in Breece Hall and CeeDee Lamb and Rashee Rice, in Javonte Williams, but very low-owned Fields, low-owned Mason Taylor, relatively low-owned Patriots defense. You don't have to be different everywhere. 3 spots here, more than enough. Alrighty, 6 of you were able to get it right. George Pickens, the leading receiver in yards for last week. So now we're going to spin the wheel, find out who wins. You got to email support@stokastic.com if your name pops up. Take a screenshot. It's about to pop. Oh, this is a fun one. I gotta be honest, this warms my heart. Friend of the program, Larry C. You picked it up, brother. You are the winner. Take a screenshot right here. Email support@stokastic.com. Claim the prize.
Now, this next build will need no randomness. We will run this with 0% randomness because the core itself is already going to get strange enough. And by strange, I don't mean dumb. I mean, I think there are so many good spots on this slate that this one may just legitimately go overlooked. And by the way, if you guys want access to these tools, the single lineup sim, the post-contest, pre-contest sim, all of the suite of tools that we have for NFL, including projections, ownership, the boom bust, top stack tool that have helped these guys right here take down millions of dollars. And these guys, low stakes players, take down some phenomenal wins themselves. Use that link in the description. It'll take 25% off your first month of Core or Sims Max, or Core or Sims Max. Anyone you want, any NFL monthly package, 25% off. The promo is auto-loaded into that link. It'll take 25% off just like that. All right, so let's talk about this, right? Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton, Troy Franklin. Run it on 0% randomness. Why? Because it's already weird enough. Sutton's going to be like 7-8% owned. Troy Franklin's not going to be owned at all. And, you know, we haven't updated because the news just came out on Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. Samuel's questionable. McLaurin is out, which is fine for right now because I'm giving you guys this information. I think if people are going to try and get weird and like cheap with cheap wide receivers, they're going to just look to go to the bottom of the barrel with a lot of these Washington guys against Dallas. Now, I don't think that's a bad move, but I think it's going to be where most people try to go to get, in quotes, different when you're getting cheap to load up on top players elsewhere, right? Like a Chris Moore or a Luke McCaffrey. I don't think that's going to be all that unpopular of a build. I do, however, think Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton, and Troy Franklin will be. And you've got the Giants coming off of a big statement win on Thursday night in front of a national audience at home against the Eagles, who in my opinion are just broken right now. And I will be stacking Carson Wentz this week as well. You don't have to. Not even sure I'd recommend it, but I will be doing it. You got them as 7-point home favorites in the altitude in Denver. Very low total in this game. They're also coming off a London game in front of a national audience where they only scored 13 points in a 2-point last-minute win against the Jets. I think the sentiment is low on this team right now, but I believe in this offense. I absolutely do. I believe in Sean Payton's team. Bo Nix is good. Courtland Sutton is still good, and he can have an easy 100-yard, 2-touchdown game. And Franklin, nobody close to him as far as routes run and targets go behind Courtland Sutton. He's the clear number 2. So we're going to run this. We're not going to run a run back, but if Denver does come out and stomp out the Giants, who this happens a lot when you've got a team coming off a big statement win against the reigning Super Bowl champs, what happens the next week oftentimes, especially when you're traveling, despite the fact that they've got some extended rest, all the way to Denver to play the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos are coming back from London, but I do think there's a possibility here that they put their foot on the gas after a couple kind of unusually slow offensive performances, and this could be the game. And if it is, I want a piece of it.
Now, we've got a completely different setup here for lineup number 2. Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton, Troy Franklin. Heavy Denver. Look at the ownership numbers on these guys. 3.5, 8, 2.5, minimal ownership here. So when we click complete this lineup, we have no randomness on right now, and it's not really all that necessary. We've done the main part of getting to the off stuff, the ways that we become a little bit better with leverage. We've done that already. So now we have $34,600 left, and we're going to get the optimal to fill it out. Now, unsurprisingly, this looks a lot like how we filled out the previous lineup because it's got very similar structure. Instead of the Jets, though, we're just using the Broncos. So Judkins here, Breece Hall here, CeeDee Lamb again, Javonte Williams again. Welcome to the lineup, Trey McBride, who has been a mainstay of this video over the past few weeks. And then we get to Saints D, $100 left on the table. I know this looks similar, but this is enough of a pivot where we've got two realistic, like high upside lineups. It appears Loughy is starting to hit his stride. 107 sim ROI, 0.4% chance to win, 2.9% chance top 10. But note the cash rate, 38%. We took on less ownership in this lineup. There's an extra sub 10% guy, and you can see that in the floor. Ceiling still looks good. Very different floor. What in the world is this guy gonna cook up for lineup number 3? Hit that like button right now if you're having a good time.
And our third and final perfect lineup. As always, Josh will post a fourth one, a Tails exclusive over to Tails. Make sure you're following both of us over there. The link is in the description. We are building out. I hope you guys are loving that platform. I've seen a lot of comments saying you are. I really hope you are. With the leaderboards to the AI mapping to where you can one-click any bet, load it into your bet slip. All of the free DFS content over there. I hope genuinely that you're enjoying it. And if you're not, let me know why. Give us some feedback, but it's only going to keep getting better. I've got a ton of bets. I just had a massive betting day yesterday. I hope you tailed everything from over there. And we're going to have a whole lot more for week 8. So for week 7, I hope you come join us, and we're going to have an absolute blast over there. Anyway, Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. That's what we're doing here. Why? Well, of course, Jaden Daniels, and with this game being a high total, is going to be popular. He has rushing upside. You still have a massive total in this game, despite the fact that these wide receivers in Washington are dropping like flies. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to take this specific route that I'm taking here. And the reason is, yes, they're going to want to play. They're going to want to play CeeDee Lamb in his return. They're going to want, and by the way, the Cowboys have flipped to 1.5 point favorites with that news in Washington. They're going to want to play CeeDee Lamb. They're going to want to play Javonte Williams. And sure, some people will have Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I don't think many people are going to want to go with the Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, and CeeDee Lamb build. And the reason I like this build specifically is because, unfortunately, George Pickens and Jake Ferguson, are still priced like CeeDee Lamb is out. It makes them hard to get to at, I think, 7,300 and 5,500 respectively. I'd rather play it this way. Javonte Williams does have some pass catching upside, but if there's just a ton of points in a game with a 54.5 point total, I'm more than willing to jump on board with this one. And I think this could still sim out pretty well, even though Dak doesn't profile perfectly in our projections this week.
Before we talk about this third lineup, one more reminder. Bonus perfect lineup getting posted to Tails on Saturday. Keep your eyes peeled. You're going to want to grab an extra one. The link is in the description. I'll be tweeting it out, so make sure you're following us. And maybe, just maybe, we'll do a Sunday bonus as well. But now, I got to deal with the absolute disrespect that Loughy just gave me by making me fill out a Cowboys stack. Disgusting. Against my team, no less. Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb. Remember, we've seen some of those names before. Lots of ownership here. Krosky-Merritt on the other side. The dude needs to learn how to hold on to the ball. Very interested to see how we fill out, because now we've already taken on some of the ownership in a different way than we had before. But to counteract that, 15% randomness on the sim. Complete this lineup is probably going to look a little different. We've got some different names now here. DeAndre Swift goes in. I like that matchup for him this week. Cortland Sutton in. We had him previously on our own. Now we get him randomly. Michael Pittman comes in. And we go with the Browns D against Miami. $100 left on the table. Is this going to be a situation where Loughy goes 3 for 3 over 100? Part of me hopes no. I guess 62% sim ROI is going to have to do. 0.3% chance to win, 2.1% top 10, 35% cash rate. We definitely blew it out of the water with that first lineup. It makes me feel a little bit better to see Dallas not perform as well, but this is still another gem. Loughy went 3 for 3 this week. Whether it's number 1, number 2, or number 3, you got yourselves the perfect lineup.